question. I feel like my weird threshold is a little bit different than most people's because pretty much I'm just sort of like going about my day and I'm like dead guy, dead guy. So it's a little bit different. I think one of the coolest experiences that we had in my investigations team at ARMS is every time we go up to the Jerome Grand Hotel, that place is amazing. It is hands down the most haunted place I have ever been, and that includes, Eastern State and Fort Mifflin and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know why the shows haven't jumped on that place because pretty much every time we've gone up there, we've had even hardened skeptics have like a really concrete personal experience. One of the EVPs I want to play is actually from there, and it's, very clear Class A EVP. No doubt about it. Last time we were up there, Carl Pfeiffer and Chris McCune from Ghost Hunters Academy were out here visiting, so we went up there and did some ghost hunting for old time's sake, and we really all had an experience where every time we would come back together as a team and sort of regroup, switch teams to go into different locations, there was a door that would rattle in its hinges, and we kept trying to replicate it. We kept messing with the AC and the heater, opening and closing windows, opening and closing other doors. But there's no really alternate explanation we could find, and the door rattling thing happened 3 times every time we came back together. A little background on the way ARMS tends to work is we are a team of mediums and skeptics and everybody in between on that spectrum. It's really important to remember that true skepticism is not just being out to disprove everything and say that you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, but it's having your belief but being able to alter your beliefs in the face of better evidence. I encourage skepticism. I think that it is healthy. I think that it is easy to get caught up with being like, everything's a ghost, oh my god, and get in that mindset. One of the classes that I teach is called Is It All in Your Head, and it's about the paranormal and mental disorders and the way that the diagnostic criteria overlap, and how to kind of keep yourself grounded in the here and now and figure out what's real and what's not. So at ARMS, what we do is we take all the mediums and stick all their names in one bag and everybody else's name in the other bag, and when we pull from each bag, we don't ever put mediums on the same team together. That way nobody can accuse us of trying to cross-contaminate our impressions. We write down everything that we get immediately, come back and compare notes, and then those are the cool moments when people say, oh, that's what they said, that's what they said, and it's a little bit more concrete, able to bring something to the table. So in Jerome, when we did that, we had split off, and I was on a team with David, who was our tech manager, and he's a categorically creepy dude. His nickname is Batman. He is a creepy guy. We don't know anything about him. We've been investigating with him for 3 years, and he's got these tool belts that he just has like all his gadgets and things just like ready. Even when we're on indoor investigations, he's got like combat gear on and like a hat. So David's sort of like that weird cousin in your family that everybody's kind of like, okay, but we love him. So anyway, with David, we were in what used to be the delivery room and the surgeon's bathroom in the Grand Hotel when it was a hospital. We had gotten, all the mediums had gotten some impressions about the bathroom, about the surgeon who used to be there, the head surgeon at the hospital, who was, the best way I can come up to describe it is psychotic. We all had pictures of him playing in the blood in that shower and sort of writing on the walls with it and feeling very godlike, because of course it makes sense in the 1920s when you're a psycho to become a surgeon in a little teeny mining town that nobody's going to notice if a few limbs go missing here and there. So this guy, I don't like this guy. Me and this guy have words every time we go up there. I try to annoy him by sleeping in that bedroom and call him all types of names, which I don't usually provoke, but he deserves it. So I was in the bathroom there, which is a straight out of a horror film. It's got the drain in the middle of the floor. The only thing that the current owners changed was they added a shower stall. And I was doing an EVP session. David was in the delivery room, and he had 2 pieces of equipment in either hand, and he could kind of hear me asking the questions with the voice recorder, but he couldn't hear what I was saying. So I asked Mr. Surgeon, did it make you feel powerful? Did it make you feel godlike? And at that moment I hear David go, holy expletive, and like I run out there, and his watch got ripped off his arm. It was a brand new watch. It was made out of fabric. It was not something that would be easily ripped. Both his hands were here, so there's no way he could have done it. The band was snapped in half, and there was a piece of it that was missing that we couldn't locate, that we looked all over the floor for, couldn't find. So that was a pretty, like, when it becomes concrete like that, that's when it freaks me out. Like, we also, in that same investigation, Carl Pfeiffer and I were doing an EVP session, and I heard a whisper. Usually when I hear spirits, it's sort of like in my mind's eye, on the movie projector in my head, as I call it. But I heard a whisper, like, out here, and you hear on the audio of that, like Carl heard it from across the room, and I was just like, who was whispering? And it kept going. Like you expect it to stop, but it just kept being like. And I was so drained. It was sort of toward the end of the investigation. I like jumped to my end of my chair and I'm like, who was whispering? This is not funny. And it's probably good it didn't pick up on audio because it'd be pretty damning evidence for me getting freaked out and crazy. But yeah, so I think Jerome, if you want to go have a cool experience, head up to Jerome. I push it really hard. They should start paying me royalties or something. They're probably getting business, but it's a fantastic place, and I've talked for a long time.
Oh, well, that's completely fine. I will attest to, I've been investigated in Jerome as well, and that place is just a mess. It freaked me out, just being there. Guys from Phoenix Paranormal.
Yeah. Vulture City Mines. Really difficult investigation. I mean, we're talking 32 buildings within the area. It's a ghost town. And some areas were mining buildings with a lot of existing equipment still bolted to the ground. And we did it, at 1 or 2 o'clock at night in the middle of the desert and we do lights out and we do EVP sessions. And it's pretty creepy, but I'm somewhat of a skeptic. I always ask why. I don't ask that didn't happen, or I don't say that didn't happen. So if I suspect that the noise came from something other than hard evidence as a ghost speaking or thumping on the side, I disregard it. So, but we heard some rattling, we heard some noises, some spooky things. Vulture City was definitely worth a day trip. It's in Wickenburg, Arizona, out here.
And everyone here is from Arizona, and would you attest to there being quite a few very interesting places in Arizona to investigate?
Even downtown here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Arizona seems to have a lot of haunted hotels. I don't know if other states have quite that many, but that seems to be the big thing in Arizona.
It was a transient town for such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody staying at the San Carlos, a couple blocks away? That has some.
I've stayed there.
That has some reported activity there as well.
We must have, when we went to San Carlos, we must have been there like on the ghost day off or something. We didn't really get a whole lot on the investigation. Mostly, like my case manager Megan and I she had just got a UV light, and I don't really know why, but like we were in there in the hotel room. We're like, should we do it? Do we want to know? Okay, we have to do it now. But luckily, it's pretty clean, so I can attest to the cleanliness of the hotel rooms.
Didn't light up like Christmas.
No.
CSI Phoenix.
Yeah.
Not sitting there. Okay, cool. So I think you guys have brought some things to share as well.